I had the privilege of sitting through one of those workplace sensitivity trainings or implicit bias trainings or diversity trainings. Honestly can't even remember what they called it, but they're the same thing. And it was really interesting because they put us into scenarios that were so obvious I could see them coming from a mile away. First, we sit down with a table of people. We're at a round table. They're our group, and we're asked to do a little get to know you kind of project. The way that they do it is they give you a mason jar full of buttons, and they dump them out on the table, and they tell you to sort the buttons. You've got white buttons and black buttons, and they're all in varying shapes and sizes. So already I can see that this is going to be somehow interpreted to make me look like I'm racist. There is no way to sort these buttons without looking like you're a racist, which is interesting to me because they're buttons. I mean, they're not people, they're buttons. And there's a lot of talk and criticism about anybody claiming that they're colorblind. Obviously, that's not the case. You see what color people are. But if you're asked to sort the buttons, there are literally no other characteristics besides color and shape and size. So I refused to participate. I sat back and watched it happen. And of course, people in my group were bending over backward to not look racist. It was really interesting. Somebody would start sorting the buttons by color, and then somebody else would say, no. And they'd make a case for sorting it by size. And basically the group got paralyzed by, we'll call it white guilt, I guess. And we never sorted the buttons. So at the end of the exercise, needless to say, they pulled us all together, and this professor that they hired to teach us about our implicit bias told us that we had been trained since our youth to see the differences and categorize people. She actually even told us that when you're young and you're learning your colors and you're learning shapes, you're already learning to categorize, and you've started your journey into implicit bias. Of course, this is nonsense. It's ridiculous. Buttons are not people. And if you were asked to sort people and all you could see were their physical characteristics, you'd probably figure out some way to sort them. Not that it matters. But at the end of the session, they told us to take the implicit bias test that Harvard has. It's called Project Implicit. I took this test. Oh, what a joy. First, before you start the test, there's an important disclaimer. And if I'm reading here, it actually says, however, these universities, as well as the individual researchers who have contributed to this site, make no claim for the validity of the suggested interpretations. So you're going to take a test. They're going to provide you with some interpretations, but they're not going to speak to the validity of those interpretations. And even though this test has no validity and the researchers can't speak to it, this test is still being used to notify people of their implicit bias. So I took the test, and I have some very interesting results. I decided that I wanted to break it, and it was easier than I thought. So I took 3 of the tests. One was on, for Native American bias against, American Indians. One of them was black people, and the other one was people with disabilities. The first one I took, I started to notice, basically the way that it works is it'll show you pictures. First, it'll show you a positive word. It'll show you a negative word. It'll show you a white face. It'll show you a black face. And it measures how quickly you can associate the faces with positive words or with negative words. And then it'll reverse the roles, and you'll have to associate another race with positive words and the other one with negative words. And so it's measuring your time, how long it takes you to sort of make that sort. So I found this really, really easy to handle, because the test is there's obviously a problem, because the whole first half of the test, you're associating white faces with positive words like joy, warmth, and you're associating black faces with negative words. So you get used to doing it that way, and then they flip it on you and they do it the other way. So the idea is you're going to take longer associating black faces with positive words, because deep down inside you're racist. So an easy way to beat this test, and I've got the results to prove it, it's all in the eyebrows. Whenever you see a white face, make a mad face and whether you're associating with a positive word or a negative word, take a moment to just appreciate how wicked the white man is. Inevitably, this makes your time take longer to associate it with positive words, and it's faster to associate it with negative words. All it takes is a little bit of thinking. My results actually said that I had a strong bias toward black people over white people. So I had a problem with white people. And if you couldn't guess it, I am as white as they come. So according to this test, I am racist against my own race. So obviously this test is nonsensical. I would encourage everybody to go try it out. I'm going to put the link in the description. Try out the test and use your eyebrows. Mess up their results because they like to use these results. And I don't know what conclusions they're drawing from it, but at the very least, this test is being used for diversity trainings and it's being purported to be accurate. When you read it, it says itself that it's not accurate, but what does the public know? So let's break this test and get the social justice training to stop. If you'd like to support this channel, the best thing you can do is subscribe and give me a like, and I will see you in the next video.